Hello everyone, I'm Josh, and in today's video we have an updated version of the Ghost Toner webinar with much better audio this time around, and we're going to take a deeper look at the software and the process involved with creating a transfer for a black substrate using the Ghost White Toner system. So the very first thing I would like to talk about is some of you may be considering the Ghost system versus the other larger professional white toner machines for your business. Now, if you're considering that, there's some things I'd like to let you know. We are essentially tricking the desktop printer into printing white by replacing the black toner cartridge with a white toner cartridge. So everything on your screen that is showing up black will print up white. So you do have to make some design changes to compensate for this, because sometimes you have to run the transfer through twice, and the registration on a printer is never going to line up perfectly. No matter what printer, what toner cartridge you have installed in there, it's not going to line up no matter what. So because we're using so many different types of desktop printers and just swapping out toner cartridges with them, there is no RIP software for the Ghost White Toner cartridge system, like there is with the nicer printers that have been designed for white toner printing. And that's the downside of saving so much money and tricking these desktop printers. But no worries, I'm going to show you in this video a few different ways in Photoshop, Paint.net, and also GIMP image editing software. And then I've really got some exciting things to show you in VinylMaster DSR, because it makes it so easy with the Ghost White Toner cartridge system to prepare your second layer and all that. But I'll get to more of that a little bit later in this video. Although US Cutter does sell other individual Ghost White Toner cartridges for all types of HP printers, the main two that we're going to be focusing on in this video is going to be the two that we currently sell at uscutter.com, and that is the smaller 8.5 by 11 inch M452DW and the larger 11 by 17 CP5225. Both of these printers are from HP, but we're going to start by taking a closer look at the larger HP CP5225. This has a maximum printing width of 11 inches and a maximum printing length of 17 inches, making this your tabloid printer out of the Ghost printer. You can connect to it two ways. You can either connect it directly to your computer by using a USB port connection, and then you can also connect it to your network because it does have an Ethernet hub. When purchased from US Cutter, it comes with the HP OEM cyan, yellow, magenta, and black toner cartridges, as well as a Ghost White Toner cartridge. These larger Ghost Toner cartridges are going to give you close to around 7,000 prints each, so you're going to get a good deal of transfers printing out of it if you're going to be printing out transfers. Now, as I mentioned before, the way that the Ghost White Toner system works is by replacing the black toner cartridge with a white toner cartridge. And the beautiful thing about this is it does all the cleaning for you. As you can see, I've got this old beat up Ghost White Toner cartridge here that I've been shipping from trade show to trade show, and it still works just fine. I just pop it inside the printer and it automatically cleans it for me. It doesn't matter if there's toner on the outside of it. The only thing that matters is if there's toner cleaned off of the roller. And you might remember this from some of my older videos. Yes, I'm using that same dirty toner cartridge and it still works fine. The HP CP5225 is also completely modular. I can remove the fuser as you just saw here, and then I can also remove and replace the transfer belt, just like on some of the more expensive printers that have been designed for white toner transfer printing. Currently, HP is the only source to get these replacement parts, so if you need a replacement fuser or a transfer belt, you will just need to contact HP directly for that, and not US Cutter. But you can replace it just like some of the more expensive printers, so no need to worry about throwing away your investment in the larger printer. Now moving over to the smaller HP M452DW, this has a maximum printing width of 8.5 inches and a maximum printing length of 11 inches. You can connect to this printer wirelessly, or you can connect it directly to your network. You can also do direct to wireless printer or connect it through a USB port to your computer for printing that way. When purchased from US Cutter, it also comes with the OEM cyan, yellow, magenta, and black toner cartridges from HP, and then we also include a Ghost White Toner cartridge And you can get close to around 2,000 transfers printed out of that cartridge. So a really good investment for such a low price to get into the white toner industry. Now the M452DW is not modular like most printers in this price range. If something goes bad on it, you just throw it out and replace it. Now, just like the other ghost toner cartridge systems, it works by replacing the black toner cartridge with the white toner cartridge. So we're essentially just tricking this printer into printing white. Anything that's going to be black on the screen is going to show up white when you have that white toner cartridge in. So now that we've covered the basics of these two printers, I wanted to talk a little bit about some tips and tricks that you might use when you're printing with the Ghost White Toner system. Oh, that was fancy. So the first thing is keeping the inside of your printer clean. And to do that, you're going to be running a lot of Forever Laser Dark that has, like, say, the transparency film through it, or if you're doing the hard surface paper, it's going to be pretty waxy. And that can get on the inside of their printer. So what you want to do is load it with a piece of thicker construction paper and then just print a few blank pages. It's going to run the construction paper through that, cleaning off any grime, dirt, or anything that just might have got on those rollers and prevent your printer from jamming up as much when printing transfers. Because remember, these machines aren't designed for printing transfers. The next thing is to make sure that you turn up your printer density to its maximum settings. You're going to get much better results. And think about it, we're using paper or transferred paper that reacts to the toner on it, the adhesive reacts to it, so the more toner you have, the better. Now this is, you can change it in some cases, but as you can see right here with these two images, the image on top, you can clearly see that it's there, and the one on bottom, it's really transparent. So, if you're putting that on something black, you may want it to just, pop more, so add a little bit more toner. And the way that you do that is to access your printer through your network. So once it's connected to your network for about 5 minutes, the router should have assigned it an IP address, and you can get that by just going to your options and then network and then print out your reports. Once you go there, you want to go to your system and then your print density, as you see right here. I have everything turned up to the level 5. The default is 0, but you saw that default before, how much of a difference there was. So I have everything turned up to 5 here so that it lays down more toner and I get a better pop on my designs, especially when I'm printing onto something black. The next thing is make sure that whenever your printer, before you send another job to it, it's done doing what it's doing. Like say if you change out a toner cartridge, make sure that it's done cycling everything before you send another job. It's done, you put in another piece of paper, make sure that you're done doing that, because if you don't, it may say that, the printer's not working right and it can't find it. And so that may come to annoy you and take up some of your time. So just wait until it's done before you send a printing job. Next is something I'm surprised to get asked a lot, is how to tell what side the machine prints on. And the way that you can do that is just by taking a blank sheet of paper and then writing, like say, the letter A on it, and then an arrow pointing to where it's feeding into, and then printing on it. That way, once you see what comes out, when you print your design on it, you can see what side it's going to print on, and you don't have to worry about wasting material. Now, let's take a look at what we need to do to prepare an image for transfer to a dark substrate. The first piece of software I'm going to show you today is a free piece of software called Paint.net. You can see that I've got the white little cat on the screen here, which is fine and dandy if I wanted to go ahead and print my cyan, yellow, magenta, and black layer. But I need to go ahead and create a layer that's going to be printable for my white toner cartridge that's now in the black toner cartridge's place. The easiest way to do this is to make the entire image black, and so that we have a nice solid white background for the entire image to lay upon. To do this, we just go to the Adjustments tab and then select Hue and Saturation. And then once inside the menu, we just turn it all the way down when it comes to the Lightness tab. And it's going to make it solid to black. Nice and easy, right? And the image is ready to be printed as your white layer. Another method that we have that uses less toner, we've already made a video on, and you can find it in our uscutter.com videos, at our YouTube page or Vimeo page. And that's going to be by actually taking the image, converting it to black and white, and then inverting it. This method works well, and it uses less toner, But I found that if you're wanting to get the clearest and most pop out of it, you can just put a full white toner layer underneath it like this, and it works just fine. Next, we're going to show you GIMP, which is another free image editing software. It works pretty well. And to do what we just did here, we're just going to go over here to the colors and then hue and saturation. And I am not the GIMP master, and I can't get it working as well as the other program does. But let me just go ahead and move that over here. It's off the screen. I've got multiple monitors, so let me just move that here to the center so you can see what I'm adjusting. But I'm having to go through and turn up the hue and saturation each time, more and more, a little by little. And I get it to a point to where it's dark enough, and then I take the paint can. Let me do it one more time. Turn it as dark as I can. And then I'm going to take this paint can and select black and just hit it and then make it solid black. And then I've got my white toner layer just fine, ready to go. Then finally, we've got Photoshop, which is probably the most used program out of them all. Of course, you have to pay for Photoshop. So we've got the cat right here. I'm just going to go right here to image, and then adjustments, hue and saturation, and pull it over here for you so you can see. Turn the lightness all the way down, press OK, and there you are good to go. And you're ready to print your white layer. Now, some people ask me, what are you going to print, when you're printing your cyan, yellow, magenta, and black layer, what are you printing? Are you printing RGB? Is this image in CMYK or RGB? I personally always print from CMYK, but you can print from whatever you want. And another question you might be asking is, Josh, why aren't you printing from any of these programs? Because I don't print from these. I print from another program called VinylMaster that we use here at US Cutter, because if I'm going to be running the transfer through twice, I like something that's going to give me control over the page. Well, I find that it's much easier for me to have control, because, I mean, think about it. We sell vinyl cutters here, and plus, if you're going to be doing t-shirts, you probably have a vinyl cutter already, so you're going to be more familiar with the software. I mean, you should have a vinyl cutter anyway, because if you're going to be doing lettering and stuff like that, and the glitter vinyl and everything, it just makes sense to have it and combine it with this. That way you can have something that other people in your area might not be able to produce, because you can do full color designs along with the standard vinyl designs with all the glitter and everything like that. So it's just another thing to have in your arsenal. The next thing that I want to show you in Photoshop is how to add distressed effects to images. This is a nice look that also has some hidden benefits for ghost toners, such as making the transfer use less toner, add flexibility and stretchability to any design on fabric, and increase the washability and durability of the transfer on any kind of fabric. You can download these templates from Forever's website at www.blacktonertransfer.com. And what you're going to do, you're going to go to that page and then go to the support section and then select downloads. And then you can find all types of things from there, such as how to rasterize the images in Photoshop for the flex off, and these vintage textures. I've already downloaded them, so I'm just going to pull them up in a folder to the side, but you can see you can download them all right here. They even have stuff for Corel Draw. With those already downloaded, I'll just go ahead and go to a dragon image that doesn't have the rasterization in it. So I'll just close that and then have this one here. So what I'm going to do is just go to my files. Let me just pull them up and show you that they're right here. Oh, sorry. And then just drag and drop it. And then I'm going to want to resize it and make sure that the texture is covering the entire area. Yeah, make sure the texture is covering the entire area of your design as it is here. Once I'm happy with it, I will just press enter to confirm that the layer is placed. And then I want to right click and select rasterize layer for that layer. Next, we want to select the other layer below that, the dragon, And then while I'm holding the control key, I want to then click the image of the dragon down below here in the layer tab. And what that's going to do is select the entire dragon. As you can see, it's selected everything that's in that image. That was a PNG file, so transparent, and it's got it all. But then I just want to go to select an inverse, and now it's selected everything outside of the dragon. Then I'll select my other layer of that, of the texture. And then I'm just going to go over to edit and then cut. And now I've only got that texture on the inside of the dragon. And now the next step is to go down here to the layer and then select subtract. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Divide. And then you can see that it has removed that layer from it. You can see through it. Now it's ready for you to print, and you've got a nice distressed image. Next, we're going to show you how the VinylMaster software works great when creating transfers with the Ghost White toner system. The contour cutting feature included with every version of VinylMaster is great for creating that white underfilling layer when you're creating transfers for a dark substrate. As you can see right here, I've got the same white cat from all of the other videos as before. And to create a white, the white toner layer, I'm going to go to the contour creating wizard and just trace the image, and it's going to go ahead and find its natural contours and edges. And you can see it found everything, even the little holes in between the hearts. I'll just hit accept, and I've got an outline. So I will just go and select the outline, Control C to copy it, paste it to another page, paint it black, and there you go. I've got my white underfilling layer right there, ready to go, no problem. Now, another cool thing about this is, say, we've got the registration error from running it through twice. Well, just take the contour cutter, trace it, and then just move it down just by, just a tiny little bit, just right there. As you can see, it's just going to bring that white line inside, so that'll account for any registration errors that will go through. And as you can see in these pictures right here, we've got a nice cat over here in the right hand corner. So this is a great feature when it comes to the VinylMaster. All of them, cut, letter, DSR, they all have that contour cutting feature. So here we are in VinylMaster DSR. I'm going to create a design from scratch. Now keep in mind, I'm not the most artistic person in the world, but I can create something to show you a few features that will really help when using the Ghost White toner system with VinylMaster DSR. First thing I'm going to do is start with my arc text feature, and I'm going to create my logo for my truck shop or whatever. And then after that, I'm going to highlight everything and select the font I want. I'm going to go with impact because I like impact. I just use it a lot for all types of things. Next, it's time to resize and rotate my design. And we'll just make it a little bit bigger, turn it to the side. It'll click in when you get to a certain angle. Which is a nice feature, and I'm happy with that. Now let's add a little bit of color to it, and we're gonna do let's show off some features. So what's more American than a truck stop? And so red, white, and blue will be the color scheme. And so I'll just go here to create my own, and we'll have red on one side and blue on this side. And now I've got a nice little gradient effect that I found over there on the side. Another nice feature of VinylMaster DSR. And plus we're going to be printing this, so gradients will work just fine, not just using vinyl. Next I'm going to pull up a image of an American flag, because red, white, and blue, why not? Let me just put it here. And let me just try to do it by eye. I don't really want anything in front of the flag because nothing's going to be on top of America, right? Let me just make sure it's centered. It kind of puts it in with the Josh. Let me just center it to the whole page. All right. So now that I'm happy with the design, I'm going to go ahead and invert it or flip it so that it will be legible when we transfer this design to a black t-shirt is what I'm going to do in this case. Because if you don't do that, then whenever you transfer it, just like heat transfer vinyl, it will be legible. So once I'm going to position it, I'm going to be happy. I'm happy with it there. So now let's go ahead and start on our white layer. And with this design, you know, we've got the red, white, and blue flag, and of course I'm going to go ahead and trace it, that way I can find the natural contours, but you'll notice it's not going to find all of the white because it doesn't really find that. So I'm going to add that through my contour, and what I'm going to do here is just turn it up a little bit here, and then as you can see, the more and more I click, the more white there is. And it's also growing around the text, but that's because I'm doing both of these contours at the same time, and I want them to have about the same size outline, so it just looks nice that way. So once I'm happy with it, I'll just click OK, and same thing, just going to go over here and then just select the contour cut, copy it with Control-C, and then go to the second page over down here, and then paste it with Control-V, and then turn it black, and that's our white layer for that. Now, it wouldn't be a truck stop shirt without trucks, and VinylMaster has some nice clip art that comes for it free with the DSR version. And so I'll add a few trucks here, monster truck here, and then because it's me, might as well add a cat, because I know that they have some like emoji looking things here, as you can see. And just stick this here in the middle because it's, I guess, just what I do. Alright, so these are all going to show up white. So now let's go and show you how to apply a texture to an image. Just like we did in Photoshop before, well, you can do the same thing in VinylMaster DSR. And the way that we're doing it, you can do it in basically VinylMaster Cut as well too. So earlier I showed you where you can go to download those textures from forever at blacktonertransfer.com. I've got one here. I'm just going to drop it off, drag and drop it. It's an EPS file. And the only thing I'm going to do here with this is select the import as rendered image and then click OK. And once I've got it loaded in, I will just resize it to where it's covering my image the way that I want it. Smaller, larger, it doesn't matter. It's really up to you, and I'm just going to make it just the size and width, just the width of the design. And once I'm happy, I'm going to click Vectorize. And what the Vectorize tool is going to do is scan the image and basically make it into something that's cuttable, or basically an SVG file that a cutter can read. But we're not going to be doing any cutting, we're going to be doing some printing, so I'm going to turn it down, the smoothing on it. That way it will be a nightmare for your cutter, but it's going to be amazing for our printer. And it's going to rescan it, and then I'm going to have a nice vector. And this is going to be important. Why, you wonder? It's because a nice little tool that VinylMaster has. You saw me do it, the punch out kind of with the Photoshop earlier. Well, to do it in VinylMaster, I just have to have 2 vector images. Well, however many vector images I want, select them all, and then use the punch out feature that comes with VinylMaster DSR. And I'll give you a real quick example of that. And I'm happy with this vector. I will just click accept, and that's going to go ahead and move it down here. Now I want to go ahead and copy this vector, the exact same location, everything, and then paste it onto my second page. That way I can do the same exact thing in the same exact location for the white toner layer, and so it'll look the same for both layers. Now what I'm going to do is highlight all of the objects and then just select punch out, and then as you can see, it punches it out, and then I've got a nice distressed looking image ready to go. And now I just need to do the same thing on my white toner layer, and same thing, highlight all of the objects on there. Just going to drag a box over there, go over here and punch out, and there you go. It's ready to print both layers, and it's that easy. VinylMaster makes it very, very easy to do that with the contour cutting, and then also with the punch out and all of the nice features that VinylMaster DSR has. Now, I'm not saying this should be, your replacement for anything, but if you don't have something, or if you already have VinylMaster Cut, this is a great place to go if you're looking to get in white toner printing with everything you need for around $1,000, software and all. So as you can see, this isn't the same exact image I just created. The contour is a little bit bigger, I started recording this before the Thanksgiving break, and I'm putting this together after the Thanksgiving break. So I didn't bring the white toner cartridge home with me, so I don't have it to print it out and film a new copy. So my apologies on that. So next we're going to talk about what type of transfer papers can you use with the Ghost Toner system. Well, because we're using normal desktop printers, and there's a lot of different desktop printers, we're kind of limited to what type of papers we can use. We have to stay away from the thicker, waxier kind, but first let's go ahead and start with the dark garments or dark substrates transfer papers. I do like, when it comes to garments, the Forever Laser Dark. You've seen me use that in all my videos. It has a great adhesive, but you can also use the Paropy CL Trim Free Dark. It doesn't have as great as an adhesive, and I feel that really holds it back. And it's priced higher than the Forever Laser Dark, so I always go with the Forever Laser Dark. It's just better and at a better price. Then we've got our hard surface papers, and you may remember me talking, when it comes to the hard surface, you really should take this into consideration if you're looking at the Ghost system or a more professional system like the Uninet. When we're running these transfers through 2 times, some of these thicker, waxier papers like the hard surface papers will curl up, and that can make running the transfer through the second time harder. It can cause your printer to jam, so keep that in mind if you're really looking to do hard surfaces with a white toner printer. You should probably be looking at a more professional printer like the Uninet for stuff like that, because they are designed for these thicker papers, and we're only limited to the Paropy hard surface brand of papers, honestly. So when it comes to those brands, like I said, we are limited to the Paropy paper brands. I've tested a lot of hard surface papers, and they're so waxy with the release, it'll cause these normal desktop printers to jam up. And that has caused a lot of issues. So the only ones I can really recommend are the Paropy CL Hard Surface 1 and a Paropy CL Hard Surface 2. The Nina Techniprint HS worked pretty well too, but I tried testing it again for like the second time and just couldn't get the same results. Then there's also the Forever Multi-Trans Select. That stuff works great, but do not confuse that with the normal Forever Multi-Trans. That stuff is way too waxy and jams up every single time I put it into the printer. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about the laser light papers that don't require the white toner. They just require you to use the normal cyan, yellow, magenta, and black toners because you're going to be using a white or a light colored t-shirt. If you've spoken to me on the road at a trade show or on the phone through email, you know that I generally don't like the single step print and then press on the t-shirt. I like the 2-step papers like the Nina Laser Light as shown here. Then the reason is because when it comes to washing, your customer's never going to follow the wash instructions. They're going to throw it in hot water, and then it's also going to have a hot dry cycle. And this can really damage your shirts, especially these laser light shirts with the single step. Some of them you're just going to be encasing the entire design in nothing but adhesive, and then in others you're not going to be covering it in adhesive, but it's only going to release wherever the toner was, but it still has this waxy, gross feel to it. But they can't hold up to the wash, and so you'll notice it start peeling and cracking within first 2-3 washes. And that's something that I don't like. So you'll notice that I recommend the Nina Laser Light. It's a 2-step paper. It's going to hold up very strong. And then I also recommend the Forever Laser Dark because it just works on everything. But if you're wanting to save some money and you're doing white t-shirts, then the Nina Laser Light is an amazing paper. It's got a nice soft feel to it that you're not going to find with any other paper.